All right. We are live and back for zZounds Live Gear Expo. And I am super stoked here to have Mr. Sean Daly from TASCAM. And he is
What's
going
up,
to
John?
show off some, man, not too much. It's crazy being on here live with you.
I know.
It's a lot of people probably don't know, but Sean used to work with zZounds, and he actually trained me at one of my jobs previously back in the day. So to be live here with him is pretty surreal. So, Sean, how you been, man?
I've been good, man. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Just been, busy navigating job in this COVID world and figuring out what to do all from my home office here instead of being out there.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
And that's why we're here doing this. I mean,
I know.
it's been weird, kind of navigating that and seeing what we can do with more limited resources. But luckily, the internet exists, and we can do these kinds of things. So,
Exactly. We can all have cameras and microphones and we're set. So
yeah,
there you go.
exactly. It's awesome. You know, I'm in my apartment. I barely have to walk 10 steps to get to my office, so it's not bad. But yeah, man. So Tascam has been doing a lot with interfaces, so you have some of those to show off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll kind of let you kind of take it from here and
Cool.
show the world some Tascam stuff.
Awesome. Well, actually, first I'd like to start off with 2021 is actually a huge milestone for TASCAM. It's our 50th anniversary, which is awesome because I feel like not a lot of pro audio companies out there can say, hey, we've been in the game for 50 years and we're still going strong. But I mean, that's like a huge thing. I mean, we started with tape machines and then, with the advent of Porta Studios, we brought the recording studio into the musician's home and kind of kickstarted that home recording revolution, and here we are 50 years later still making great products and Porta Studios interfaces, microphones, whole nine yards.
Yeah, I mean,
um,
Tascam is legendary. It's a lot of people still using the tape machines too, which is cool.
yeah,
For doing, I mean, all kinds of stuff. I mean, you've seen probably was it Nine Inch Nails uses one to do pads and everything over all the music. So with Tascam, I mean, you're continuing the legacy, which is awesome.
yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of I feel like there's like this whole resurgence of hardware synth that's going on, and I know a lot of those people really dig like going through like an older Porta Studio or one of our cassette tape machines and stuff like that. And it's awesome. It's cool to see that stuff also still out there in the market and still being used and have a place in the world still, which is cool.
Yeah, it sort of laid the foundation for probably what you're going to show off today. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
So let me pull up camera B here.
yeah,
So these are the new USHR interfaces. So we've got three of these. On the top is the USHR or US 1x2 HR, which has one preamp. We've got the US 2x2 HR underneath of that, which has two inputs, and as you can perhaps see, those are dual inputs with XLR quarter inch. And then on the bottom, we have the US 4x4 HR, which has four channels on there, and rather than dual inputs, there's a separate XLR quarter inch input on those. These are super new, just coming out now, and actually zZounds is one of the only retailers that's carrying these. So it's kind of there's a lot of them, but it's a little bit of a limited release. Not everybody has them in their stores.
yeah.
These are cool. We used to have the I don't know how many TASCAM heads out there are watching this right now, but we used to have a series called the US series. And so this is kind of an uptick on that. The HR stands for high resolution. These are higher quality audio interfaces. They can do up to 24 bits, 192K audio. So super high quality. And they're not really, they're not just for musicians. So, it's an interface, but you don't have to strictly record, your songs on them. Like, what we're doing right now is a big thing right now. So, Zoom and Skype and all of that. So, I mean, those can be plugged in via USB-C, which they're also bus powered. And, you can use that as your input for your microphone to do any of this.
Definitely.
Also, these have like all TASCAM interfaces, we have proprietary software that's like a settings panel, so you can adjust different settings within the unit. On this, we have a loopback feature. So if you're not familiar with Loopback is just being able to take all of the audio from your computer system and route it through your interface. And so that's actually one click. When you open up the settings panel, there's a button that says Loopback. click that, all of a sudden everything is being routed through there. So if you have, like, say you have a podcast and you have guests that are through Skype or Zoom or whatever, and you're trying to also for your podcast play music that's on YouTube, if you just hit that and then put it inside of your DAW and record just one channel, or 2 channels for stereo, it's going to pick up every single thing in the system and bring it through there, and you can get a really nice quality sounding recording off of just that. And it's super easy to use. It's very easy to use, and these are fairly low cost. And let me put them back on these. These are very cool. The sides are red. They look cool. These are really heavy duty metal chassis as well. So these aren't just like a little, plastic interface that if you drop it from your desk onto the floor, you're going to crack it and damage it. These are meant to be, taken around, and they're just great. They sound really fantastic. I have a podcast of my own, did the loopback function through it just to test it out. Sounded awesome. Sounded fantastic.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I think today it's more important than ever to have that loopback function, not just for music and stuff, but like you said, for podcasting or streaming, or I know with a lot of streaming platforms, if you wanted to show something from like an application, you have to route it through, the output back to the input and things like that. So I feel like it's super useful, not only for music, but for a lot of other applications like content creation and stuff. So
exactly. Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff that's geared towards content creators. That wasn't necessarily known how important that content creation would become in the last year, and how that's probably changed like moving forward, and is never going to go back to the same exact model necessarily. But yeah, not all, actually very few interfaces have a loopback function built into it. So if you have something that doesn't have that, you'd have to download third-party software to be able to loop it all through there, and it's a hassle. I've definitely done that before, and it's confusing. It's not cool. So this makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, I did about 10 minutes of research to do something like that, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy a TASCAM. How about that?
There you go. That's what I like, where your head's at with this one. But like on the content creation thing, right now I'm using it's barely off of screen here, but I'm using the Tascam microphone, and I've got this going through our Model 12 mixer, which I have that plugged in, and that's great to use as well. Like it's you have your gain level where you're bringing everything in, and then you have an easy to use one knob compressor, and then you have EQ, and then you can send that out to, like we're doing right now, or all my Skype meetings and Zoom meetings are the same way. It's great. All this stuff is very easy to use. It's made for musicians. That's a mixer is just going to be made for musicians, and musically inclined people. But there's a whole lot of other uses for it. It's great. It's fantastic. A lot of this stuff is super relevant for the times right now.
Yeah. Pro tip: if you want to stand out in your Zoom meetings for work, get a nice interface and a microphone.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Which we do have a couple of microphones coming out as well. They haven't hit the market just yet, and I don't have them with me here. But we have what's called the TM82 dynamic microphone coming out. TM82 is it's a dynamic handheld microphone. So it's in the vein of some other types of microphones that you've had before, like say something with the numbers 57 and 58. It's very similar to that. It's got a nice handheld metal chassis again, so it's built to last. A lot of we're making stuff that's built to last, which is why you also see Porta Studios still being in use now. But it's great. It's great for live and vocal recording, and it's great for like a snare drum. You can put it on there, and like if you're a person who uses a couple of different microphones, like a 57 or an M80, you can get the same desired effect with this, and it sounds great. And then back to the content creation sort of side, for people who do have podcasts and things like that, we've got the TM70 coming out, which is a broadcast microphone, which is very similar to what you have there, John. So we might have to get you one and see if we can swap that bad boy out or something.
Yeah.
But it's a broadcast. It's got that sound. These types of microphones have a very a very punchy low mid to them, and tend to thicken up a voice. And it's what we're used to hearing, the 7B or like an RE20, something like that. It's very similar to that. It's going to get you the same effect, but it's not going to put as much of a dent in your bank account as one of those microphones would. And it's very high quality. They sound awesome.
Yeah, I think having a great microphone for content creation is huge. I mean, when I got the SM7B here, the quality just takes it to the next level. But the thing is too is there's a lot of gear that's a little out of reach for some people, and having something a little bit more affordable is, I think, um, great for people that maybe aren't musicians but they're content creators, or they are musicians and they want something at home that they can use, when they don't want to, trek out to the studio or whatever. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited to see that. So if you want to send me one, I will use it.
I got you. Don't worry. But yeah, and it's like you were saying, like, it's something that's not going to break the bank. And especially, there's a lot of people who are out of work right now. And especially like musicians who've previously been able to, rely on the gigging world, just not cutting it right now. And this is a fantastic, option to go with.
Well, and I think that just highlights too, like, the importance of a home studio. With people, I've seen a lot of my friends, get more into production in the last year.
Oh yeah.
Just having, their interface and, some monitors and a microphone, just a simple setup. And I think for your guys's, interfaces, it's like you said, they're built to last. I know a lot of musicians aren't the neatest, so something's half hanging off a desk, or
yeah,
if it falls off, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about it breaking. So I mean, because that's the worst that can happen, is your gear fails in the middle of trying to be creative, and you want to take advantage of that inspiration when you can. And I think a home studio and that application for those interfaces is perfect for that.
Yeah. We've got TASCAM. We're a fairly small company in terms of employees that we have. And one cool thing, you said something about your gear failing, but not just necessarily for dropping it off the desk and breaking it, but like you got like support issues. We have a very small, tight-knit support team that takes phone calls, emails, and they're on top of everything, and they work super hard. They're very personable, and they know everything about everything TASCAM related. It's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that's another.
Yeah, that's an awesome resource to have.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely been times where I'm like, this isn't working and I don't know what to do. So having a resource like that is amazing. But yeah, man. So let's go back to the stack of interfaces that you have there. I think, are they just behind your shoulder there?
Yeah. Boom. Yeah.
Nice.
Right over my shoulder.
And those are available at zZounds. So like Sean said, we are one of the few retailers that's carrying them right now. And there is a featured link here in the stream that you can click that will go to all TASCAM interfaces at zZounds if you wanted to check those out. So,
yeah. And also, let me just point out, there at the bottom left-hand side of the screen is a very tiny recorder. That's the DR10L. So that thing is very small, like smaller than the palm of your hand. And it has a lavalier microphone that attaches to it. It runs off of one AA battery. And you can get like 10 hours of recording off of that. Records at very high quality as well, which is great for wedding videographers and maybe some DJ types. And it's once again, content creation. If you're out filming, that's great. Attaches on you, hides real easily. You can go a long time recording on that as well.
I was gonna say perfect for the YouTube prank videos.
Boom, there you go.
I've always wondered. I'm like, I wonder what I watch those as someone that's into gear and stuff, and I'm always wondering, like, I wonder what they're using there for that mic. So perfect use for that, definitely. Well, with COVID, you have to be careful what kind of pranks you're pulling. So
this is true, very true. Yeah,
just going out there, getting too close to people. But
don't do any coughing pranks or anything like that. Nothing like that. Keep it distance pranks. That's where it's at.
We're just gonna get our interfaces and our home studio set up and just stay put.
Yes, yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, good.
I think musicians were they had the edge on that because they could spend long periods of time inside by themselves.
yeah, so. Exactly.
But yeah, did you want to talk about what you're running into? You said the model, is it the Model 12 or the 14?
I'm running Model 12. We've got 3 in the model series: Model 12, Model 16, Model 24. Model 16, we have, if you head over to our Believe in Music Week site or just tascam.com, we have a giveaway right now for a signed Model 16 that's been autographed by Bootsy Collins. And that's cool because it's an analog mixer. It's basically the same setup when you look at the Model 12. So you've got your gain that's coming in. Then you have a easy to use one knob compressor, and then you've got EQ. Then you've got your fader. The Model 16 and the Model 24 are the same beast, just different channel count. They are analog. They do have built-in digital effects. So basically, when you're running something through the system, you're running it completely analog until it gets to the USB port where you transfer to your computer. So you can use it as a mixer, you can use it as a USB audio interface with any DAW of your choice, or you can also use it as a standalone multi-track recorder. So this takes an SD card, I believe up to 128 gigs, and you can record all of your songs on that multi-track recording. And it sounds awesome. It's the workflow for people who have used Porta Studios in the past, or the cassette versions, or whatever iteration. It does work the same. You can record like say 8 drum tracks, and then you can bounce them over to like a stereo track, and then you just freed up 8 new tracks, and they're really cool. And so the Model 12, which I'm using, is similar to those. The setup is, when you look at them, they physically look the same, except for the Model 12 is a digital mixer. So it does all the same things and a little bit more. So the only analog component in the Model 12 is going to be the preamp, the Ultra Hdda preamp, which is a high quality, awesome sounding preamp. Hopefully you can that quality is translating to you there. But
I think you sound great.
Oh, well, thank you so much. But yes, the same thing. So it's a standalone multi-track recorder. It's a USB audio interface. It's a digital mixer. But this being all digital has the added benefit of when you hook it up to your computer, if you're mixing a song in Pro Tools or Ableton, Cubase, Logic, whatever you use, you can flip it over to control mode, and now you have a Daw controller where you control the transport controls, pan knobs, mutes, solos, fader levels, and it's all motorized. So if you have that up on your screen and you grab with your mouse one of the faders in your Daw and you pull it up, you can see the fader, the fader on the Model 12 moves along with it. Very, very handy. I use the Model 12 literally every day, and then also for my band when I'm demoing ideas, I use the Model 12 for all that too. Sounds fantastic.
I was gonna say it's like a Swiss Army knife for musicians as far as recording and live sound and stuff like that. So I mean, you can go into a rehearsal room and record live, or just use it as a mixer, right? That's kind of
absolutely.
And then you can take it home and plug it into your DAW and edit and do what you need to do. So yeah, you don't see a whole lot of things that can kind of are versatile in the fact where you can use them for those multiple purposes. So
right. We've actually, with the Model 12, so the Model 12 being a digital mixer, it's a little bit easier to update, because it's all digital inside. So we're talking firmware updates, and some of the things that we've come across that, because this is only a year old at this point, the Model 12. And so some of the things that we came across, we've now integrated into the system. So we have a vamp function that came out towards the end of last year, and maybe familiar with the term vamp from playing music. But so basically what this is going to do is, say you're playing a song, you use the vamp function to add a punch in and a punch out point, and it's just going to loop everything between there. So it's going to vamp that part, which is very cool. It's a very useful writing tool. So like if you're writing a lead or a solo, or you need to come up with a great vocal melody, don't just keep hitting spacebar and whatever on your DAW. Use the vamp function and listen to that. It's fantastic. And then the newest one that just came out is an output delay feature. And this is because we do have a lot of people who've gotten the Model 12 for the express purpose of streaming, using it as their audio streaming, of choice. And so, if you've noticed sometimes on Facebook or other platforms, maybe even, oh man, what's the gamer one? Twitch. There we go. I always forget with that. I test a lot on there. Output delay. There might be a noticeable delay between the audio and the video, and so the output delay actually compensates for that, and you can adjust it, very fine-tune adjust it to be perfectly on. I just put out a video. I just did a video for TASCAM that we released that shows you how to calculate the delay and then how to compensate with the Model 12. Very useful piece of gear.
That's very awesome. Cool. I mean, and that's the thing. You guys are putting features in there that I think a lot of people are going to get a lot of use of. We're already getting comments of people, saying the vamp function is their favorite on the Model 12.
Nice, cool, good to hear.
And, I think that's great. I mean, literally, like an hour before we went live here, I had a spike of inspiration since I worked and with the studio on hand, I'm like, I gotta record this,
Yeah.
So I did the space bar with the loop, and I'm like, okay, and then it's a little off, and I'm like, okay, now I gotta go back, hit the space bar. So I mean, shoot, I could use that feature. So
Yeah.
talk about just the functionality of everything being useful in today's climate, and even beyond, hopefully when everything clears up and people can go out and use it for live music, and it's not just a studio piece of gear, which is
Right.
great.
Yeah. Very versatile. Yeah. Lots of different stuff you can do with that.
I can't wait until live music is back.
I know, man. I know. Just like doubly, I'm itching to get out and play, but I'm also itching to go to shows as well. Like I really, man,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like, what else do you do on the weekends? Oh, that's right. You sit in home and stream television shows all weekend. That's what you do.
Yep, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel horrible for all my friends' bands where I'm like, I'll totally be there, and then something comes up. It's like I gotta go to all those shows now.
Yeah. You have to make up for it, John. You really do.
Yeah, I'll come watch you guys. There's in I hope that most of we're in Chicago. If anyone isn't aware, so I really hope the venues kind of hold on and kind of weather through this whole thing, because there's nothing more sad than seeing one of your favorite venues close. So
Yeah, I would be absolutely crushed on the inside if Beat Kitchen closed. I don't know what I would do with my life. It's like, where am I going to go see shows at? I'm not interested in this other stuff.
yeah,
Just,
I mean, their tater tots alone,
yes, yes, yes.
if you got if anyone out there watching this is ever comes to Chicago, look up the Beat Kitchen. It's a great little venue here in Chicago. So.
Go to the show. Go to a show there. Get the tater tots. They've got these great flatbread pizzas that are fantastic. Cocktails are off the chart, and it's all there. It's everything you need in a venue right there.
Yep. So yeah, man. So what have you been? Because you're an engineer and you're a producer. So how have you been kind of spending your time working on projects? Are you recording people live, or are you just kind of mixing? Or
I've been so I at the beginning it was weird because I was actually in the middle of production for a record with a Chicago band, and all of this stuff hit, and then it put like just put a big damper on the beginning of it, because also part of it was, fairly early on was like, how do we prevent this? What's happening? Some people were like, it's whatever, and people weren't taking it seriously. And so that put a huge pause in the middle of that record. It was like, I don't know. It's stupid, but like, from the time, we didn't record anything from like May until maybe August or September. And then I was still kind of weirded out by that. Like, anyways, I won't go on that, but that was pretty much my only recording project, other than, I've been personally recording some music with an ex drummer of of a band I was in, who lives in Nashville. So we're sending tracks back and forth, and it's been great. And then my other band, here in Chicago, we've been demoing some stuff. But aside from that, I've had my engineering business. I've been mastering a lot of records. It looks like a lot of people had things already recorded before everything hit, and then mixed them, and then they needed them mastered later. So I'm still getting an influx of that. Done some great stuff from Chicago. I did a really great band from it's a solo artist from Seattle, he's got this great sort of like Tame Impala sound that
cool.
I really, really loved. And I like working with some like more indie-ish type of stuff. And so that was fantastic. And yeah, it's just been it's just a lot of mastering stuff for me as far as engineering goes.
Yeah, it's crazy. You can work with someone in Seattle, and you don't have to be in the same room.
Yeah, exactly. Just fly those files back and forth and make them sound awesome.
Send the files, and you're good.
I saw on social media videos of you just absolutely shredding on guitar. It looks like you've taken, I mean, you're a great guitarist anyways, but it looks like you took a lot of 2020 to really step up your skill. You've been jamming and playing some really cool stuff.
Yeah, I've been trying to like expand my styles. I mean, for anyone that doesn't know, I grew up learning Green Day songs and power chords and 4/4 time, and there's a lot of speculation of whether that's good guitar playing or not. So I'm like, I'm going to prove to myself that I'm a good guitar player. So I still haven't done that yet, but I'm trying. So no, yeah, I don't know if you caught. We did a stream recently with Yvette Young, and her band Covet, and I've been learning some of her songs, and she's just a phenomenal guitar player. So
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, I mean, I can try to play that. Not going to be good. Not going to hit all the notes. That's for sure. Man, Covet is such a fantastic band, and I did catch that, and it was awesome. And I was very impressed that you had her on. That was great because I feel like both her and Covet don't. I don't know. They're just kind of just barely out of sight of a lot of musicians for some reason, and they need more attention. Covet is a
totally, totally.
fantastic band. She's an insane guitarist.
Yeah, I mean that's what I like to do. Bring our powers together. To help, and we're all musicians that work at Zounds, so of course we want to work with other musicians and and just have fun doing it. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was great. So with like the Tascam lineup, do you see people kind of like using more of like a Model 12 or 14 or something in a studio, but then they have their smaller interface where they can, if they have to go out and do something, there's a use for that. I feel like too, so it doesn't have to be your only interface, but it could be something that, hey, I got to get up and go to this studio to get a vocal track done or whatever. Do
Right.
you see a lot of people kind of using it in that aspect too, or is it more
Well,
more home studio based?
no, like there's a lot of people who have, like there's types of people who have, like, say, guitarists who have, like a USHR 1x2 or 2x2 where they don't need a lot of channels.
Yep.
Got like a room in their house that they've got set up, and this is the jam room, this is the recording room. That's the bare bones, quintessential, home recording setup. Or there's people who have like multiple rooms in their house or their whole basement decked out, and then those people are using Model 12s and 16s and 24s as like the centerpiece of the studio,
Mm-hmm.
which is awesome. And like, there's a lot of artists out there who actually use these pieces for demoing and actually use to record all their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, Man, anyways,
But
yeah. So I mean, there's like,
yeah,
but like traveling sort of stuff. I'm kind of glad you brought that up. I was on the fence about bringing this up. We've got a line of handheld recorders, the DRX
yeah,
series.
there you go.
These are awesome. These are known as field recorders. Like say on the 7X right here, you've got a mic setup, stereo mic on the top. You can switch from AB to XY, and
Mm-hmm.
so you got a bit of versatile sound from this. But also the whole series of DRX recorders, you can hook up to your computer via USB. They record directly to SD card. But you can hook them up to your computer, and you can use this as an audio interface. And the DR40X, which is on the shelf behind me up here,
Mm-hmm.
you can that has two additional inputs on it, where there's mic and line on the bottom, and you can use those as additional inputs on as using it as an audio interface.
Okay.
And if you just plug this in without having to do anything to it, this will pop up on Skype or Zoom as a USB microphone. So these are also, they're not expensive at all, and
Mm-hmm.
these are fantastic solutions for educators as well,
Nice.
and students as well. You're doing online classes, you need to communicate. This is going to be like a quality option for you, where you don't have to worry about your having your laptop pick it up, if it's not
Mm-hmm.
sounding good. And it, makes it more professional, especially like a teacher, for example. You want to be able to convey everything clearly. Boom, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are great. And we've seen a lot of people repurpose these recently, who would use these for field recording, for capturing ambience and backgrounds, or maybe like, set it up at the back of a live venue. And now they've brought these into their homes and they're using them differently. And, that's
Yeah.
kind of, we've seen a lot of that. Excuse me. A lot of people have been, thinking about their gear in ways that they hadn't previously thought about.
Totally. And I mean, it's constantly blowing my mind to see like, um, different parts of different industries, for instance like education or gaming or whatever it is that has some kind of use for a microphone, that they're being they're straying away from the computer mic and
Mm.
actually getting like a little setup, so
Right.
like having like just even a small setup makes a whole lot of difference. And there's a lot of people that I'm sure where it's really important that there's no cutting out and there's no feedback or background noise or anything like that. You want to be able to hear them clearly and be able to take that information in as if you're there in person. So
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the US HR, the US 1x2 HR, for example. Its outputs on it are RCA. So say you've got someone who does do stream games, but they don't have a lot of like pro audio gear where they don't need XLR quarter-inch outs. With the loopback function allowing you to stream, you can with the connect it with USB, and then you've got those RCA outs to like your home stereo system, and RCA inputs from your home stereo system. So you can get a lot of good things going on there. And then if you are a gamer who streams, you can pop that right onto Twitch with the loopback function. Easy as cake, no problems at all.
Yeah, yeah, and I've seen people, start online yoga studios or all kinds of stuff.
That's awesome.
Where people are really being creative and how they can put themselves out there and still continue their jobs or their passions, or turning passions into jobs because of an online atmosphere and community and things like that. So it's super cool to see, and it's super cool to see TASCAM like really kind of really making features that really help not only musicians but other people as well. So
thanks, we definitely appreciate that. That's what it's about, really.
Totally. Well, cool, man. Was there anything else you wanted to show off while we're hanging out?
No, I wish I had those microphones to physically show off, but I don't have them with me here. But no, I mean, that pretty much covers it. The model series, the USHR series. Let me pop that back up there for you one more time, just so you can see how awesome those are.
Yeah, I just want to screenshot that and like frame it and put it on my wall. Or maybe I'll just get a real one.
There you go. Shift Command 3 and put it on your wall. Or, yeah, get a real one. You work for zZounds, just get one, man. It's easy.
Yeah, there you
go. Don't forget DRX series, handheld recorders. These are very versatile, very useful pieces of gear. Yeah, a lot of great stuff that's really going to help musicians and content creators of all types in the current climate, and then past, after we get past all this.
I love it, man. And thank you so much for joining us on this Gear Expo. And I think we got to see each other in California last year, and I'm sorry we can't do it again, but we're out here making the best of it, and it's going to make it that much better when we can all finally hang out. So
yeah, absolutely.
Really appreciate it, Sean. And for anyone that's interested, feel free to. There is a link that's featured here that takes you all to TASCAM interfaces at zZounds, so you can click that and check them out. So
awesome, John. Thanks so much for you and zZounds for giving us the time of day to come on here and talk about some good stuff.
Totally. Alrighty.
All right, man. Take it easy. Have a good one.
Bye.